Hi everyone, it's Michelle at MatsuiRuns. Kind of doing my first vlog here, but kind of wanted to talk about the Star Wars half since I didn't get to it, and it just seems, I guess, easier to possibly talk about it. So kind of want to give you a retrospect of what happened. I had trained really hard for this. I'd given everything in, gotten my times down, was really excited to be at Disney World again running a race and not being injured. I showed up at the race, met up with my friends, pastry chef Danny, regular Doc, Chasing White Rabbits, if you know Chrissy, and Becky and everybody else that I've come in contact with over the past years. And I was really excited. Of course, I came with my New York bagel, which a lot of people were apparently jealous of. Maybe more envious because I had thought of it. And my little cup of peanut butter because as you know, a lot of times Disney doesn't provide food in the morning. And their cafeterias are all closed, which I think is kind of crazy, especially during run weekends when you have a lot of people there. I mean, it'd be nice if they did have coffee, tea, water, oranges, bananas, just something to give these runners what they paid for in a way. So I get there. The buses from the resort where I was staying at Pop were great. The half, the 10K not so much. But it was good. They were coming like every 5-10 minutes, so it was great to get there as quickly as it did. So we get down to our corrals, and I just look, and it's just like, holy crap, there is a lot of people here. Out of the ordinary, I guess, but it is an inaugural race, so I guess they're going to have to work out some kinks, but I do know prior to the race, they kept reopening the races left and right to allow more runners in, and I think that was kind of a bad move because a lot of the resorts at Disney are closed, or not resorts, but part of the parks are closed because of all the renovations that are going on and all the additional things they're adding, like Star Wars Land. Yes. And adding on to Toy Story and stuff like that, Soarin', Norway, they're redoing, or Norwegian, they're doing the whole, was it, what's the Frozen movie? Sorry, excuse me. It was a big thing with people who had kids. But the course was really, really narrow, and then from the get-go, it kind of started off bad for me. It was really tight at the gate, at the start gate, and then once I got out, I was okay for about 3 miles. There was a lot of bad running etiquette, you could say. Running this race, I had a gentleman who was running backwards with his friends that were behind me that was joking around and ended up kicking me in my calf, causing me to have to pull over to the side and pull a cramp out of my leg, which took a couple of miles to kind of get that out and worked out because it completely bruised my leg and kind of kept me out of the game for a while. And it was right below the knee on the calf. So that was the start of it. And you start, when you start, you go through Epcot, and it's very narrow, the course that they chose. I wasn't happy with it. And people were just, run walkers, which I am one of them because of my injuries. They were stopping without putting their hand up first and then moving to the right. Then when you were walking at your break, runners are running up against your right side, which they should be staying in the middle. But unfortunately, everybody was taking up all of the whole course, and it was really hard to judge. The majority of your race, even from the 10K, you were weaving in and out, so you got most of your mileage from that. I know I did. I think I ended up with like 14 miles ran that day. The same thing with the 10K, was astronomical number. But anyway, I started running again and I was good to go. And then around mile, gosh, what was it? It was the incline on Osceola Parkway, and some guy decided to stop. Yeah, stop right in front of me and slam on my foot, causing me to have a severe blood blister underneath my second toe. I felt it. I felt my toes swelling. I did not take my shoe off, but I did when I got back to the hotel. But we'll go into that later. There was no apology from either of those guys. I was really upset about that. Continuing down to the race, running down Osceola Parkway, I saw people cutting people off left and right. I saw one woman fall and completely like tear open her whole face. On a piece of asphalt that was sticking up like this out of the two pieces of concrete. So here's the asphalt, and then there's a piece of the concrete here and the concrete over here. And when she fell, she fell right on top of it, slicing her whole face open, scratches all up and down. It was absolutely horrible to see. And then a mile or two down the road from Osceola as well, on the way back, another lady was cut off, tripped, and broke her arm. Which was so disheartening to see, because you train so hard for these, and a lot of people do train a lot for them. And you know, I understand there's fast runners out there, but you again, you know, coming up behind people on the right side when they're walkers, and then cutting them off, and this is what happens. So then I get to about on the way back, right around where the McDonald's is, and was it the All-Star Sports? Some girl decided that she saw somebody that she knew, threw up her arms and elbow checked me in the head, in the temple area. It took a lot out of me to not do anything. I had a lady who was beside me who saw the whole thing go down. The girl was oblivious to everything else around her. The lady beside me literally looked at me and said, "How you did not hit her or blow up out of your mind, I commend you, but how you didn't do it, I don't know." And I looked at her and I said, I had to keep my Disney. I don't want to, you know, come out of my head, but I totally, I'm not going to lie when I said I had an Ally McBeal moment. If a lot of people remember that show, Ally McBeal basically would have these visions and she'd jump out of her body and do things. Well, my jumping out of the body ended up with me having this girl on the ground and basically curbing her face to a curb, because I was legitimately really pissed off at this point. 13 miles of walking is not fun. When you're hurt, it's even more painful. And I was really, really disappointed. When we got back to the ESPN zone, which, sorry, that's the train. I do live in New York City. When I did get back to the ESPN zone, I don't think it's a proper place to finish a race. I don't think it's set up for it. I think that it needs some work if they are going to continue to finish races there. But there were too many people. They had, at the very end, all these stormtroopers and characters from Star Wars lined up, like I guess, along the practice baseball fields. And it was just, really, why would you put them there? You have people lined up across the course to get pictures with these guys. So you literally had to run, go around, and then continue going. So it was kind of crazy. Of course, I crossed the finish line, and I was in utter pain. I had, you know, really worked really hard for this, and I was so upset. I grabbed my snack bag. I skipped pictures because I was just so pissed off with what happened, what transpired, because it happened to be the worst time I've ever had since I started running. And I was so disappointed in myself, so disappointed in the ethics that some of the runners, I understand you're fast, and I understand you wanted to get pictures with every freaking character on the course, but you need to be observant of the racers around you. Just like you guys asked us run walkers to be observant of you guys because you guys are faster, you need to pay attention as well. I mean, there's also kids that were on the course running with their parents, and you know, they had no etiquette. Please teach your children etiquette, please. It's part of running. And I was just really disappointed in it. And you know, and I did say that I don't think I would ever run this race again. I probably won't, unless, you know, once Disney World is completed with all of their, you know, shenanigans of upgrading and doing everything else. Although Disney World will always forever be upgrading and changing things out throughout the years, but I just the course was so narrow, and the one stretch, I think it's between like mile 8 through 12, where you're on the Osceola Parkway and you had one guy in a Hummer playing horrible club music, dancing by himself. Yeah, can you get some more entertainment like you guys used to with the Tower of Terror when you ran down Osceola Parkway? There was so much entertainment. There was all the ghouls and the characters along the way. There's nothing on the Osceola Parkway. It's the boringest stretch ever. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, the bus lines, be prepared to wait. I stayed at Pop Century. It seems like a lot of people stay at Pop Century. From what I saw, it took a while for the bus to get on the buses after the half. But what, you know, they were trying to stagger 2 buses at a time, which sometimes became a mess. The staff at ESPN Zoo were very snotty to a lot of people. I guess, I don't know if they're considered cast members because they do work at ESPN, but they were not particularly nice. There was one lady, a lady asked a question to one of the lady members there that was helping out, volunteers or whoever they were, and she got a persnickety attitude, and I literally thought the other lady was gonna drop her. I mean, it was that bad. It wasn't a question out of, you know, that warranted any attitude, but surely enough, she did get one. You get on the buses, the bus ride back. I mean, you get back to your hotel. I walked in and my dad looked at me and he goes, "You look like you've been drugged through mud, beaten up, and torn down." And I said, "Dad, if I could tell you how proud you would have been of me of not beating the crap out of somebody, you would be proud." He asked me what happened, and I told him the whole story, that which I just told you guys. And then I took off my shoe, and my toe was purple. And as soon as I took off the shoe, it began to swell and swell and swell. I was like, "Well, this is going to be great," especially with walking around the parks that day and wanting to do things. So my dad says, "Well, I'm going to go down to the pool. I'll let you relax. Take an hour or 2 nap, and then we'll go to the park." So I took a nap. Actually, I took a shower first. I was gross. It was very salty. I'm a very salty runner and sweater. As I was saying, I'm a very salty runner. I don't know why it cut off, but it did. Anyway, I went to get up, and my whole foot popped, and, well, the toe popped, I should say. And of course, you don't need to know the rest, but let's just say I no longer have a toenail. Oh, proud runner's feet. And we went to the parks, and I enjoyed walking around the parks, and trust me, after you run, it's probably the greatest thing to do. Get that lactic acid flowing through you, and get it, you know, out of your body, out of your system from all that work you did. But that was pretty much it for my race recap on the Star Wars half. Again, would I do it again? Maybe if they changed the course up and made it a little bit better than what it was and not allow so many people in. I just don't know. I was just so disappointed in it. You know, I'll maybe try a Disneyland race here or there, but as soon as I do, yeah, I'll post about that as well. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy your run.